Hey, this is Carlo of 4GQ TV, and I'm here with Joe Smith from the Fandrop team. Joe, nice to meet you.
Wes Carlo, thanks for chatting.
So I hear that you guys are going to have some stuff at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, absolutely. For this Fan Drop is a new brand from Moose, and it launches this fall everywhere. But the San Diego Comic Con is our big coming out party. So we have a dedicated booth there. We have some exclusives. We have some first editions of our main line, and a couple really fun Instagram, social sharing worthy activations, so really an immersive booth and we're incredibly excited to be able to get these in fans' hands and really talk to fans too, because it's we've been talking to ourselves a lot about it for a bit of time now, and but just having it and getting that feedback is going to be awesome.
I think so. I'm a huge fan of Marvel, so when I saw the Fandrop pictures in the press release, I got really excited. How long did it take to develop this between maybe like internally and then with Marvel back and forth?
Yeah, and it's hard to pinpoint that exact date that it really came to life, but we've been noodling on the idea of let's call it a small figure concept that could be, fan centric, things with like elevated details and something that could really appeal to that that fan and the adult market. But and we've had a couple conversations with with the right Disney teams over the years about doing it, but we kind of really honed in on what is fan drop that you know today, and this idea of art meeting collectibles. I would say a year and a half ago or so. And then just it's kind of been a bit off to the races with collaborating with both I'd say there's a combination of the Disney folks, and then there's specific folks that work on Marvel proper, that work in Lucasfilm and Star Wars. So it's been collaboration from there.
Oh, that sounds exciting. Well, I really, really love the pictures. Do you happen to have the products with you by chance?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's I'm sure we can also send you after the full rendered out details. But so with give you like a tease for on the Marvel side with Spider-Man, versus Venom, and then with Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, with these, I think the when you think about the Vader and Luke and that scene in Empire Strikes Back, and then a lot of our conceit of this is you have the ability to own the moment and really and own some of the most iconic moments that through pop culture when you think about in like the grand scheme of it. But especially when you think about the I am your father Empire, that reveal really takes you back to that moment that you first saw it. And then we felt like there isn't anything more iconic than that, and potentially in any IP or any movie. So it just felt like the right place to start. And when you think about something like Spider-Man and just the how beloved that character is, and there's so many different ways to go at it. And as we're thinking about these pairings, we have to put them against Venom.
Wow. So just, that is a really cool concept, especially the Luke, I am your father. You brought that up. That's such a classic moment in Star Wars. And to be able to take that kind of and picture it into a product that consumers can enjoy, keep it closed, whatever they want to do with it is really cool. It's something that I am going to put on my wall if I get a hold of one because it looks so cool. So, going back to this, what was the deciding factor of, let's say, Luke and Darth Vader and Spider-Man and Venom? Because there's so many iconic moments within Disney's universe and Marvel's universe that you could have chose from, but these two, I will say, stand out for me personally. But there's a lot of others out there too.
Yeah, there's no shortage of moments, and that's what makes it really exciting. But we also have to kind of pick our spots, so to speak. And just like for our series one, we have four of these drops on each side. So kind of like where do you pick? So there was certainly lots of internal debate of, okay, what characters do we select, and then what moments do we go with? And then working closely with with the teams with Marvel and Lucasfilm to really help us in some ways push us in push us in a positive way and in certain directions and say like challenge some of our thinking. I'd say a good example of that kind of collaboration is when we do think about Spider-Man and Venom. My head immediately went to, I'm like, okay, if we're going to focus on these characters, let's do Spider-Man 300. It's a iconic cover, and the McFarlane, and one that I have a nice version at home of. So I think it's just like we love that idea. But as we're working with Marvel, and really when we started, say the cover doesn't work, obviously and with the cover being just Spider-Man, so you kind of really don't have the cover to work off of. And then when we really started looking at the book, there wasn't that moment that we felt like that would do it fully justice, at least how we're thinking about Fandrop in this iteration. So we said, okay, well, where else can we go within that story, of Spider-Man versus Venom? And we landed on that Spider-Man 375. So it's an anniversary issue. And there was some really awesome moments on the page that we kind of have part of like the packaging and some of the back is we kind of really say like, where did this come from? What is the inspiration? And then in that battle, it kind of led us down a path to be able to create some super dynamic posing for both characters, and felt like at the end of the day, for the person that's going to put it on their shelf or on their wall, this is a great one to start with. And then thinking about that methodology, and then repeat it, multiple times for this one. And then as we're looking ahead, we're starting to take a peek at what we're going to be doing in spring of 28. So then everything kind of in between is being mapped out in different iterations right now.
And, so these will be at SDCC for people that want to buy them. Can they purchase them now or after SDCC, and where can they get them?
Yeah, yeah. So for SDCC, we have our two exclusives with Star Wars and Marvel. Really cool black and white versions. We kind of did what is like the storyboard execution in the case of with Empire, and then kind of think about that artist sketch when you think about with comics and with the Spider-Man Venom. In addition to that, at Comic-Con, we'll have our entire run of Wave One with we added a bonus first edition sticker, so there's going to be a limited amount of those available. But then for folks that can't make it to Comic-Con, it's going to be everywhere that toys and collectibles are sold, with some great partners lined up with Target, Walmart, Amazon, Entertainment Earth, etc. So, no, and that's just covering the U.S. And then and then we have our global partners on board too. So yeah, there's a lot of excitement, and with speaking with our retail partners, they see the value, they see the white space. So we have a lot of excited folks there too. And the cool part about it is when you're talking to whether it is someone who is at a Target or at a retailer across the world, you just really help spot out the fans, and they pick them up. They want to start talking about either a certain moment or, hey, why don't you guys do this? And then I think a big part of it too is going to be getting that fan feedback. And what one thing that we're so excited about Comic-Con is not only show the things that are coming out for the first time, in physical form for the majority of folks, but then also, we're asking for feedback, and we have something set up to really kick off that two-way conversation with fans of, what do you want to see next? And I'm very curious to see like what bubbles up from that.
And do you know, I don't know if you could say this yet, but will there be more coming in this particular series or this run?
Yeah, absolutely. But without getting the details, but we have a nice runway planned over, just even over the next 12 months with periodic drops.
And For this run in particular, is there like a set limit? Like, is there a set number that's going to be produced, or are these going to pretty much? I know you mentioned Walmart, Target, so I imagine like a mass production line for these.
Yeah, I think we're trying to find that balance. So for example, at Comic-Con, we have limited numbers on those, and I think for fans that are looking for the limited aspect of things and chase, we did add the element of the what we're calling the artifact is basically in included, basically one-to-one mini replica of an iconic part of that scene or that moment, whether it's a lightsaber hilt or a shield or what have you. So there's elements of there's kind of the one in the regular decode execution is, as I would call that, where the majority is with 80%. And then we have a rare one at 15%, and then an ultra rare at 5%. So kind of when you really start doing the math is like there's only 1 in 20 of that ultra rare on top of, what we're designing Fandrop is that, we want to be able to have that accessibility both in, the price point it is and then where it's available. So like, fans kind of everywhere can engage with it. But we also love the idea of these particular drops aren't going to be around forever. So there will be, they will eventually go away in a relatively short period of time. So it's can't get into details on that specifically today, but just we're cognizant of that's part of collecting, and I like it when something's rare that I have in my collection. I like when it's something that I love and looks cool, but if there's only a certain number of it retired or out of print, I think that's definitely always like a cool part of it too. So we want to find that balance of having it available, but then also at some point you have to make it not available because there's cool new ones to collect, of course, but then also makes it that much more collectible.
Okay. And I think I have like one last question for you
Okay,
because you've answered so
cool.
much already in such a short time. When it comes to the design of the characters and the way that they are, did you take the actual, let's say, art from Spider-Man 300 or 375 and kind of like put that through a modeling program, or did you actually have a designer make this, or did Disney have a designer make it?
Yeah, it's a great question. Now, our the aesthetic, both with the figures and the background work that all came from in-house from our Moose team. So a combination of folks that are working, are sketching it up and kind of working on that side of things. To a big part of it is then with our sculpting team and just having it. Okay, what is it? How do you translate, a 2D image and have that go to 3D? And then all along the way, of course, getting, having check in with our Marvel and Lucasfilm partners and just say, making sure that they're aligned and putting us in the right direction and especially because there's a stylized element to it. So I think they have certain tenets that they're going to be looking for their character that are, I call it essential, and then other areas where we can have interpretations. Yeah, yeah. So it's we're proud of it, and to me it feels like we love the idea of doing something that's new in this space, and I think there's a combination of there's some a familiarity with it, with say the call it the larger heads and some of the more exaggerated proportions, but it feels fresh and new at the same time. So we're really proud of that.
Is there anything that you would want to tell fans out there about Fan Drop or Moose Toys? Anything that maybe they should know?
Yeah, where do I begin? But if you can't tell already, we're incredibly excited about Fandrop. Our partners with at Disney, Marvel, and Lucas have been awesome, and then really allow us to help partner to bring the vision to life. And this is something worth noting because if they know Moose, we kind of go everywhere from on the younger end, the say Bluey to the fan drop and call it things that are in the collectibles aisle to the action figure aisle and plush and kind of everything in between. But which is awesome. So but particularly with Fandrop, it's that classic. It's by fans that are here, and it's really for the fans too. And like I said earlier, we can't wait to kind of get that feedback and see what they like about it, what they'd like to see more of, what they want to see next, and so we really look forward to kind of having that two-way dialogue.
Yeah, I'm excited to see, what you guys are showing at San Diego Comic-Con. I'm excited to go to Walmart and Target and see your stuff on the shelves now. Now that I know about the products, I'm really super excited. I think you guys make great designs. They look fantastic. Everything with the fan drop, even the Bluey, and then the Mr. Beast figures, they're so, in a sense, they're so articulated and they just really pop out to you if you're a fan of this kind of culture, pop culture, and it's awesome.
Cool. Yeah, we appreciate it. Appreciate you're a fan. It's awesome. We look forward to having you on the booth.
Absolutely. Well, Joe, thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, likewise. You take care. Good meeting you.
You too.